Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Panamero. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join me here. Welcome to your gateway to the lucrative $136 billion factoring industry. Before I tell you a little bit about me and how I got here, I wanted to let you know that I believe that this may be the most important presentation that you have ever watched when it comes to making a significant change to your financial future. And many of you could already be sitting on a gold mine by simply learning how to quickly leverage your skills and experience to find one to just a handful of businesses that need money to help them thrive. Over the next 30 minutes or so, I am going to share some of the best content and valuable information that you're ever going to get about this lucrative multi-billion-dollar industry that keeps growing every single year. Soon you will discover that today represents the single best time in history of factoring to be working in this dynamic industry. Our core mission is to make the daunting task of finding more immediate cash flow easier for businesses across North America when traditional bank financing is not an option. We continue to deliver on this mission by training and supporting an elite business cash flow consultant network. So with that said, what results do you want to take away from this industry corporate overview? What results do I want to take away from this industry corporate overview? Because in the end, isn't this about the results? I believe you are here to do a little investigating, to find out what can the factoring industry do for you? What can Pivot Financial do for you? What can the Finance Institute do for you? What can I do for you that can help you get you closer to your results? I'm here because I'm looking for a few solid professionals that we can train and support, where we come together to work together to continue to deliver on our core company mission. And that is what this industry corporate overview is all about, getting all of us closer to our results. So please take good notes. And if you have any questions, please write them down, because after this session is over, you will have the opportunity to schedule a follow-up call with me to answer any questions that you may have. So to tell you a little bit about me and how I got here, what you may find interesting is that I may be a lot like some of you, in that my journey in the factoring industry started back in 1999. I was a marketing manager, it was on a Friday, and I was at work. I was called into the office and I was told that, Michael, we no longer need you to come into work on Monday because we are making budget cuts. Here's your severance pay, you have 3 minutes to clean out your desk, and we wish you all the best. I remember being escorted, leaving the office and sitting in my car in the parking lot. I was overcome with emotion, humiliated. I was extremely upset. My mind was racing about what am I going to do now. Absolutely feeling sick inside and disgraced, knowing that I now had to go home and tell my wife that I had just lost my job. We had recently celebrated our first anniversary and we were moving into a new home. You know, I felt so used, taken advantage of. After putting in all that hard work over all those years, I thought I was doing a great job, only to have the entire rug pulled out from under me. I remember everyone telling me, Mike, a job is not for life. There are no guarantees. It's part of the process, but you know, you never think that losing your job could ever happen to you. Now, why am I telling you this? Because some of you may find yourself in transition, seeking that perfect opportunity, that perfect job or career. Or maybe you're presently working and your life is already great and you believe you'll continue doing great. You're relatively comfortable, and I get it. You don't really have to make a change, but you're here because you just want something more, and you understand there are no guarantees, and you want to have a plan B just in case something does happen, and that's smart. And if you're like me, you've probably been exposed to all kinds of opportunities. And one day back in 1999, I found myself in transition with no plan B. I discovered an opportunity that made a lot of common sense to me, an opportunity that was going to teach me how to broker mortgage notes and business invoices for cash. Finally, I had found a real opportunity, a real industry that just made perfect sense to me because let's think about this for a second. Don't a lot of people carry mortgages? And doesn't every business create an invoice when they sell something to another business? Well, I know the company that I sold for sure did. So it was at that time that I decided that I would never work for anyone again, and I enrolled into their training program. Now don't worry, you won't be risking 1 red cent of your own capital to join this industry because our organization provides all the training and the support you're going to need. So after my training, I hit the road running, and I started to expose and educate my former customers and business contacts about the concept of factoring. And I was paid a substantial monthly referral fee by financial institutions to bring leads to them. In 9 months, I was awarded membership into the $1 Million Club for the industry, and in early 2001, I was offered the opportunity to open up the Canadian operations for a company out of the United States. With my success, I was invited to travel all across North America as a visiting instructor and guest speaker for some of the major industry organizations, educating and coaching thousands of business owners and professionals on how to work, profit, and succeed in the factoring industry. In 2008, I founded the Finance Institute. The Finance Institute has grown into the premier online business cash flow consultant training and support company on this planet, and it is the primary lead generator for Pivot Financial. During this overview, this industry corporate overview, you will learn 3 things. You will learn why now is the single best time in history to be taking part in this lucrative $136 billion industry. 2, you will learn how you can leverage your professional skills and business contacts to earn a substantial long-term income. And 3, you will learn how to gain the knowledge and the confidence to find your first transaction immediately after this overview is finished. So just pick up any newspaper or read any online publication, and you will discover article after article, post after post, comment after comment, addressing the fact that banks are still not lending to businesses across this country. And what is more shocking is that business bank loan application decline rates are reaching epidemic proportions. Just take a look at this article published in the Business News Daily. The title, 6 Factors That Keep You from Getting a Small Business Loan. Topping the chart as the #1 reason, poor cash flow. A recent study by the Credit Research Foundation reveals even more shocking facts, that 82% of all businesses are reporting poor cash flow. The report goes on to read that 92% of new businesses will fail in their first year due to the lack of available working capital, and 100% of all businesses will struggle from slow or no cash flow during their existence. These companies cite the lack of available working capital, the tightening of cash flow, and the slowdown in customer payments as the 3 major issues that are having disastrous effects on the viability of their businesses. So what is factoring? Why is it important to a business, and why is it important to you? Companies large and small across this country every single day are delivering products or rendering services. In order to be competitive, they can't always insist their customers pay COD, cash on delivery. So in addition to providing the product or rendering the service, they issue an invoice. Now I'm sure you know what an invoice looks like, but let me bring your attention to an important section of this invoice indicated by this little green box right here called terms. Typical terms in business. Typical terms issued by vendors to their customers for early payment of their invoices is 2% 10 net 30 days. What does that mean? Well, if a customer pays for their invoice within 10 days of receiving the invoice, the vendor will discount the invoice by 2%, or the customer will receive a 2% discount off the total value of the invoice. If the customer pays for their invoice after 10 days and before 30 days, the customer is required to pay for the invoice, or what we call on an accounts receivable in full. Now, by listing terms on the invoice qualifies the invoice as a legal document or a short-term note. So I want you to remember that. So in addition to providing the product or rendering the service, the vendor issues an invoice, and this invoice now becomes an accounts receivable. And now they wait. What are they waiting for? Well, they're waiting to get paid. They're waiting to get paid 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and even longer. Did you know that the national average for customers to pay for their invoices across this country is a staggering 73 days? Did you know that it's estimated that small businesses across North America carry over $825 billion of invoices at any given time? Here's another fact. The average small business across North America invoices between $100,000 and $500,000 each and every month and now waits to get paid. While these companies are waiting to get paid, other orders are coming in. While these companies are waiting to get paid, they have to find ways to fill the new orders, to pay their employees, to pay their suppliers, to pay their rent, to pay for their utilities and their taxes. And this vicious cycle continues to happen to every single day to small, medium, and large businesses around the country. So let me ask you, if the banks aren't lending and customers are always paying late, where does a business go to get the money it needs on a daily basis to thrive? Small to mid-sized businesses that need the cash to thrive are turning to the concept of factoring to sell some or all of their accounts receivable to get the money that they need fast. Just take a look at these numbers. At a time when many industries have been floundering, the factoring industry has been experiencing explosive growth, and this industry continues to grow every year. What's exciting is that all indicators continue to point to the fact that we can expect much of the same for the unforeseen future because this type of financing is recession-proof. When the economy is strong, companies will use factoring to fund their growth because banks don't like when a business grows too quickly. When the economy is weak, companies will use factoring to survive, to meet their fixed costs, their payroll, etc. So what is factoring? How does it work? And how can you begin to work and profit from it immediately after this overview is finished? Well, the actual definition of factoring goes something like this. Factoring is the purchase of business to business or business to government accounts receivable, which are current or outstanding invoices for goods or services that have been rendered in the past for a discount fee. Let me repeat that for you. Factoring is the purchase of business to business or business to government accounts receivable, which are current or outstanding invoices for goods or services that have been rendered in the past for a discount fee. It's important to note that factoring is not a loan. There is no interest charged, and it's similar to a cash discount that vendors offer their customers for early payment. Remember that 2% 10 net 30 days that we just talked about. So how does it work? Well, there are two key disbursements associated with a factoring transaction. The first key disbursement is called an advance, and the second key disbursement is called a reserve. The advance takes place when the client, the business, the vendor, receives up to 95% of the total value or the face value of the invoice when the invoice is purchased by the factor or a company like Pivot Financial. The reserve takes place when the vendor, the business, the client, receives the balance once the customer has paid for the invoice less the discount fee charged by the factor. To illustrate how this simple concept works, I have prepared this example for you. Let's say that the total value of the invoice was $100,000, and let's say the factor determined that the advance rate was going to be 90%. 90% times $100,000 equals an advance of $90,000. When you subtract $90,000 away from $100,000, you're left with $10,000 or 10% of the invoice. And the vendor, the business, the client, would receive this $10,000 back less the discount fee that the factor charges once the customer has paid for the invoice in full. So how does Pivot Financial or Factors make money? How do we generate revenue? Remember, Pivot Financial is not a bank. Factoring is not a loan. Therefore, there is no interest charged. Factoring is the buying of an invoice at a discount. Banks make their credit decisions based on the financial strength, the financial wherewithal of the business and the business owners, how long the company has been in business, if the company is profitable, and what assets can be used as security. Pivot Financial isn't concerned about any of that. We make our credit decisions based on two things: the creditworthiness of the customer, so who is paying for the invoice, and the length of time it takes for the customer to pay for the invoice. Factoring simply accelerates working capital into a company, and factors earn discount fees for providing that service. There are over 55 million small to mid-sized businesses across North America, but less than 10% utilize factoring because it is a fact. Most people and businesses have never heard about factoring and the many benefits before. So is the factoring industry saturated across North America? Well, on the contrary, did you know that in the UK, the United Kingdom, over 75% of all businesses factor? Across Europe, over 54% of all businesses factor, and these numbers are growing. Can you now see why today continues to represent the single best time in history to be working in this dynamic industry? Providing alternative working capital solutions to small and mid-sized businesses is becoming the hottest professional consultant opportunity of this decade. And although you may have never heard about this career before, Yahoo Hot Jobs recently voted factoring among their top hottest professions as reported by Joy Victory of Payscale.com. Now, to save time, I'm not going to read this entire article, but let me sum it up for you this way. There has never been a better time than right now to be working in this industry. So ask yourself this question: how many businesses do you know that provide a product or service to another business or the government? How many businesses are in your area that provide a product or service to another business or the government? Now ask yourself, how many of those businesses do you think are getting paid in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and even longer? The answer is all of them. All of them. And here's what we know. Every accounts receivable department in those businesses is pounding the phones every single day, chasing their money, chasing their customers to pay faster so they have the cash flow to make their payroll, to pay their suppliers, to meet their fixed costs, to keep current with their taxes, etc. And that's where you come in. In our industry, our practitioners are called business cash flow consultants, professionally trained individuals that can quickly uncover businesses that need money in this vast industry. I'm seeking professionals that are interested in leveraging their skills and experience to learn this new skill, to add it to what they are currently doing or on its own. Many of our consultants start part-time and are earning the type of income they deserve. They set their own hours and they work from a virtual home office environment. In our organization, we work as a team and we succeed as a team by following a simple blueprint called the FEES process. The FEES process stands for find, expose, educate, and support. As a business consultant, a business cash flow consultant, your role is simple. Find a company that has customers that are always paying late, expose the company to the concept of factoring, educate the company about the many benefits of factoring. Then you ask the company to complete a short client profile that looks something like this, and then you send this information over to one of our file managers and you step aside, because we will provide all the support to intercept, structure, and close that transaction for you. Your goal is to find one company, and all I want you to do is focus in on learning how to find one company and finding it fast. Then we will teach you how to leverage that company to immediately create more prospects. Leads are not our issue, guys. What we do with the leads we have is what this is all about. We are not short on prospects. We have a captive audience because the banks aren't lending and customers are always paying late. And after 20 years of experience in this industry, here's what I know. If you can't find just one company that needs money to help them thrive with all of our training and support, then you're simply not trying and you don't recognize how big this is and the opportunity that is being extended to you. So, how is a business cash flow consultant compensated? I think you're really going to like this plan because it's possible for you to earn anywhere between $50,000 to $250,000 per year by simply referring businesses to us. This is not rocket science, and we have made it possible for anyone to quickly learn this new skill with no prior experience, information, or special education. When I said in the beginning of this overview that this may be the most important presentation that you have ever watched when it comes to making a significant change to your financial future, if you understand what this is and how it works, you can do very well, very fast. As our business consultant, our business cash flow consultant, you can get paid a big chunk of the discount fees that we generate because we will pay you up to 15% on all of the gross factoring fees that we generate for the life of the factoring relationship with the client. And depending on the type of company that you find, you can get paid each month for 18 months, 36 months, 5 years, and even longer on the gross factoring fees. Notice that I said that I did not say net. I said gross, before any expenses are taken off the top. A partnership of the highest order, because if you were truly our partner, you would get paid 15% of the net after all the business expenses have been deducted, and you would most likely have to invest into the business like a franchise. So what does this compensation plan mean? It means long-term residual income. It means planting a seed once and then farming it, harvesting it over and over again. So how much money can you earn? Well, quite frankly, the numbers will surprise you when I show them to you in a minute. I always remind our business consultants, our cash flow consultants, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it. So before I reveal the real numbers, let's set your first goal, a measurable goal, a target, if you will. I want you to take a few seconds and I want you to write your answer to this question. How much money would you need to earn per month to make a significant difference in your life right now? How much money would you need to earn per month to make a significant difference in your life right now? I want you to be realistic and I want you to write that number down. I'm going to pause for about 5 seconds for a drink of water, but when I return, I'm going to share 2 real-life case studies with you that I think will help bring some reality to the type of income that you can quickly generate. I'll be back with you in about 5 seconds. Okay, so let me introduce you to Synchromesh. Synchromesh is a small industrial fertilizer manufacturing company with monthly sales of $98,000. Synchromesh was recently awarded a large contract from a new industrial customer to supply a truckload of industrial fertilizer each month for the next 12 months. The total value of the purchase order each month is $88,500, almost double that of Synchromesh's current sales. Now, in order to bid on the contract, to be competitive against their competition, Synchromesh negotiated early payment supplier discounts with their suppliers and received special pricing on the raw materials under the stipulation that Synchromesh paid their suppliers in 15 days. The industrial customer ended up paying for the first order in 60 days. When Synchromesh approached their customer to see if they could get paid earlier For all future orders, their customers said that they would prefer to pay in 60 days. The issue, Synchromesh must now be in a position to pay their suppliers in 15 days on all future orders, even though their new customer pays in 60 days. So what is Synchromesh to do now? Well, they will have to find another way to raise the cash to pay their suppliers early, or they will have to turn down the rest of this contract because there's no profit in the transaction if they can't receive the supplier discounts. And what's worse, they'll probably lose this new customer altogether and any new orders in the future that this new customer could bring. So Synchromesh went to the bank, but they were declined for financing due to two reasons. One, the bank thought they were growing too quickly, and two, the company was only 2 years old and didn't have enough financial history to qualify for bank financing. This deal was referred to us by someone like you, a business consultant, a business cash flow consultant. And the transaction we structured went on to look something like this. Purchase order value each month from the new industrial customer, $88,500. Factor ended up advancing 85% for a total of $75,225, more than enough money to pay the suppliers. The factor charged a fee of just 2.5% for every 30 days the invoice was outstanding, and this customer paid for their invoice in how many days? 60 days. So 2.5 for the first 30 days plus 2.5 for the next 30 days equals 5%. 5% of what? 5% times $88,500, which is the total value of the invoice, which equals monthly factoring fees of $4,425. If you were the business cash flow consultant that introduced this deal to us, how much would you receive? 15%. 15% times $4,425 equals monthly commission of $663.75 just for referring this deal to us. What could you do with an extra $663 coming into your household each month? In this industry, we call these small deals. Well, guess what happened in this deal? Synchromesh realized that every time they created an invoice, they could factor it and receive immediate working capital to run their business. So they went on to factor all of their receivables, their current sales of $98,000, plus this purchase order every month of $88,500 for a total of $186,500 each month. And guess what happened to the cash flow, the business cash flow consultant's commission? It grew to almost $1,400 each month. Do you know how long some people have to work to get paid $1,400 every month? Okay, let me introduce you to healthcare nurse staffing. Healthcare nurse staffing is a temporary staffing agency that provides nurses and other healthcare providers to hospitals, labs, nursing homes, retirement homes, etc. Healthcare nurse staffing recently secured a contract to provide 50 nurses to a local healthcare organization. The nurse staffing company would pay their nurses $28 per hour, and the nurses would work a 40-hour work week. The nurse staffing company would then turn around and invoice the hospital at $36 per hour for each 40-hour work week per nurse. The healthcare organization pays their invoice in 60 days. The issue, the healthcare nurse staffing company must now be in a position to fund bi-weekly payroll, pay the nurses every 2 weeks to perform on this contract. So the payroll looks something like this. $28 per hour, which is the hourly wage per nurse, times 50, the number of nurses, times 40, the hours per week for each nurse, times 8, the number of weeks it takes for the healthcare organization to pay, $448,000. The invoicing looks something like this. $36 per hour, which is the hourly wage per nurse charged to the healthcare organization, times 50, the number of nurses, times 40, the hours per week for each nurse, times 8, the number of weeks it takes the healthcare organization to pay, $576,000. Well, healthcare nurse staffing didn't have this type of money, nor did she know where she was going to get this type of money to make her payroll. So she went to the bank, but she was declined because they didn't have any hard assets to pledge as security to obtain a loan. Think about this for a second. What could they pledge as security? They rent the office space, and when you walk in the front door of the office, you would see a small reception area. You walk down the hall to the right, a small kitchen with a microwave, a small refrigerator. To the left, you would see a few desks with computers, a phone system, and a few pictures on the wall. The only inventory they have is people, nurses. You can't pledge humans as security to the bank. So what was she to do now? Well, remembering that she was recently exposed to the concept of factoring by a business cash flow consultant, she contacted that individual, and the transaction that was structured went on to look something like this. Total value of the contract, $576,000. The total advance, 90%. 90% times $576,000 equaled the total advance of $518,400, more than enough money to pay the nurses' wages in the amount of $448,000. Factor charged a fee of just 2% for every 30 days the invoice was outstanding, and this healthcare organization paid their invoices in how many days? 60 days. So 2% for the first 30 days plus 2% for the next 30 days equals 4%. 4% of what? 4% times $576,000, which equals factoring fees of $23,040 each and every month. If you were the business cash flow consultant, the cash flow consultant that introduced this deal to us, you would receive how much? 15%. 15% times $23,040 equals residual monthly income of $3,456 each month. Guys, imagine what it would feel like to have an extra $3,456 coming into your household right now each and every month. In this industry, we call these bigger size deals. Now, before you even ask, the average size deal we see coming in is approximately $175,000 per month in receivables to be purchased. Now, guys, I apologize. I may have to pause here for a few seconds to change my mic over because I see a little warning light going off. And Jessica, if you could help me change this over, please, before I lose the audio, please. Thank you. Okay, guys, so let me continue. So how many deals are you going to need to find to reach your financial goal? I bet you it's not as many as you thought, huh? And many of you could already be sitting on a gold mine. So let me ask you this question. With some more practical information, some training, and our unparalleled support to intercept structure and close your transactions, do you think that you could find just one company that could benefit from factoring? Just one. If you said yes, here's what I want you to do. Please copy this website address down. www.thetfi.com. www.thetfi.com. Let me get out of the presentation and jump on the internet live with you. And I see Jessica has another mic queued up for me to use, so I will be right back. 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, here we are right now at www.thetfi.com. This is our advanced cash flow consultant training website. Using robust and cutting-edge technology, we can provide you everything that you will ever need. Practical, short, and concise information, leaving no stones unturned, with must-to-know information and step-by-step instructions showing you exactly how to execute strategies so you're prepared to find your first transaction within a few days of this training. Now, to access the entire video lineup, I want you to scroll up here to the top right-hand side of the website where you see Contact Us tab, and to the left of it you'll see Member Login. Give it a click, and you will be redirected to this page here. After you become a member, you will receive your own username and password. Simply enter your credentials to gain 24/7, 365 access to all of the training videos from any mobile device, laptop, computer, cell phone, etc. that has an internet connection. Please make note of this. You can also view the entire training curriculum as a non-member, and I encourage all of you to do this after we finish up here in a few minutes by simply scrolling down here to the bottom right-hand side where you see select a module, TFI Module 1, 2, 3, and 4. You see that here? Go ahead and give TFI Module 1 a click, and you will be redirected to the entire lineup of the videos that are included in TFI Module 1. Okay, let's give TFI Module 2 a click. Now guys, anytime that you scroll through the list and you arrive at the bottom of the page and you see something called older entries, you see that down here? This means that there are more videos associated with this module on the next page. Simply give it a click and you're redirected to the next page to continue your learning experience. Now I only have a few more minutes, so let me just highlight a couple of these videos. For example, video 19, the communication process. Learning what to say, learning how to say it, learning when to say it can make you look like a seasoned professional even if it's the first time that you're speaking to your first prospect or business contact. Learning how to follow our 80-20 rule when it comes to communication is vital to your success. Learning how to call the prospect to a simple call to action to complete the short client profile is your only objective. Video 19 will teach you exactly how to do this using my script, a script that I have been using for over 15 years, a script that my file managers use, a script that you use because it's going to work. Okay, let me bring your attention to TFI Module 3. Learning what to do is very different than doing what you know. This is what makes our blueprint simply the best on the factoring planet. Nothing happens unless you have certainty, you have confidence in what you're doing, and you take action. TFI Module 3 is packed full of time-tested marketing strategies, not theories, that we have developed and many are still in use today. Video 22 is called Attraction Marketing. This video explains how you can put out compelling, targeted, time-tested messages through various channels to targeted prospects and then have the prospect react to the message with a simple call to action. Okay, let me skip over here to older entries and go to videos 38 and 39. Developing lead lists. In these videos, guys, we reveal over 40 hot industries that are inherently attracted to factoring, and we show you how you can harness the power of the internet to quickly develop these lead lists. But just remember, this is not about throwing mud against the wall and seeing what sticks. I keep saying, and it's important for you to realize, that leads are not our issue. What we do with the leads we have is the key behind everything that we do. Find, learn to quickly expose and educate, complete the client profile. We provide the support to place, close the transaction, and you go and move on to something else. Now there's so much in these videos I have to show you, but I only have so much time. So let me scoot over to TFI Module 4, where I find the LinkedIn training videos. Guys, I love LinkedIn. It is the new age of lead generation, and we continue to dedicate a lot of time to testing, tracking, tweaking to continue to be at the forefront of this industry. Guys, social media is poised to change the way we do business again, creating a marketing revolution never seen before in the factoring industry or in any industry if you know what you're doing. Did you know that there are over 414 million registered users on LinkedIn, and what's amazing is 2 new members are joining LinkedIn every second. I view LinkedIn as a massive lead generation engine, giving you the opportunity to find, expose, and educate the most amount of qualified prospects and referral sources in the least amount of time for the least amount of money. LinkedIn recently published these statistics. Professionals that utilize social selling create 45% more lead opportunities, and 78% of social sellers and marketers outsell peers who don't use social media. Folks, gone are the days of people being chained to the office or their home staring at a desktop computer. The mobile technology boom allows us to easily conduct business through a laptop, a tablet, and in many cases our cell phone. Doing business in this business or any business has never been easier. Okay, so let me get out of here and get back into the presentation. Okay guys, 1 second, let me just change my mic over again. All right, so in addition to the online training videos, you will also receive a copy of the Take Action Training Workbook. And this is what the workbook looks like: a series of multiple choice and true and false questions that complement the videos. A little secret for you: the answers to the questions are in the back of the workbook. For those of you that answered yes, that you believe you could find just one company with some more information, some practical training and support, I want you to go ahead and register for the program by sending an email to our support staff at info@thetfi.com, subject line register me. Upon receipt of your email, we will send you some instructions. You'll receive your personal username and password to access the videos, along with a copy of the workbook. If you have any questions as you're going through the training, you will be able to reach out to us for help. After you have finished the training, we will schedule a mentoring call with you to discuss next steps, what to do first, what to do next. If you have any questions after you've gone through the training, you can reach out to us for assistance, lifetime support. If you want to speak with me before you get started, you can schedule a call with me and I would be happy to speak with you. You can schedule that call by using my online calendar found at www.thetfi.com/Mike. This concludes the industry corporate overview. I hope you got some extreme value out of the information that I just shared with you, and you enjoyed receiving the information as much as I did presenting it to you. If you're like me, only a few great opportunities will land on your doorstep. Don't be like a lot of people who will ignore these opportunities because they don't recognize them out of ignorance or fear because they are new to you. Today represents the single best time in history to be working in this industry, and it will continue to be that way for the unforeseen future. The banks aren't lending, and customers are always paying late. Here's your opportunity to quickly learn to leverage your professional skills and experience. You'll be extremely happy that you did. Thank you again for watching. Until I speak with you again, all the best, and bye for now.